I've decided to attempt a challenge that I call the 100-day transformation, and I'm very aware that it will not be a simple task, because the premise of the challenge is that I make quite a substantial change in my life over the next 100 days. And in fact, it's probably going to be the most difficult thing I've ever attempted. But a challenge is always something that has appealed to me, especially if it's something that I think will better myself. And I need this. My mental health is rapidly deteriorating to the point where everything that defines me as an individual is fading, and it's quite the idea that
Read to and tell them that's okay. Good night, Dennis.
good night, and the idea that I may never improve, which is something that I'm constantly ruminating over, is it's quite a daunting prospect. And sometimes I feel like I've gotten to the point of no return. So, without further ado, this is what I have laid out for myself. Last year was undoubtedly the worst year of my life. I experienced loss. I've lost some people that I hold dear who departed this plane of existence. Among other events that have happened. And so far, my experience of this year has been quite comparable, I think. It hasn't been something that I've particularly enjoyed. I don't go to bed excited for the coming day. I have a strong desire to change my predicament, and I acknowledge that this will be a most difficult journey. It will test both my willpower and my desire to better myself, as well as my belief that I can yet make a positive contribution to this world. So, the first step that I've laid out for myself is to exercise more. I've put on an absurd amount of weight in the last year. I've become very unhealthy in both my eating habits and how I occupy myself during the day, and how physically active I am. My physical strength has declined to the point where I struggle to do menial tasks. gotten very physically weak. I feel very fragile. I don't feel strong or desirable anymore. I also need to work more on my physiotherapy. That's something that I definitely need to put more of an effort into. It's quite a complex injury that I've sustained, and it's very long term. It's something that I hope to remedy in the future. My body is my vessel, and I must take better care of it. I've grown tired of being a grotesque cripple. I weigh precisely 100 kgs, although that can fluctuate. At my worst, that is what I weigh, which is disgusting. I look at my reflection from time to time and I just feel sheer disappointment when I look upon my body and what I've done to it. I can't look at my own reflection. I can't bear to look at it, to look at my disfigured, misshapen figure. But compared to the other tasks, this one is probably one of the more straightforward ones. So it is something that I know that I can achieve. The next step, step 2, would be to improve my diet. These first two steps are, of course, intertwined, for you cannot perfect one without the other. But of course, I'm not looking for perfection here. That would be unrealistic. Before, I used to eat a lot of rubbish food because I had a sugar dependency. It helped raise my energy levels, at least temporarily. And even then I think I was at least subconsciously aware that I was harming myself. This was a form of self-harm. I think how I thought about myself reflected how I looked. And it still does, to this day. Before, I used to eat a lot of rubbish food because, well, it's became one of my pastimes, and it did seem to alleviate my more negative feelings that revolve around my thoughts. Step 3, and probably the one that I'm most looking forward to is to start writing again. It was an old passion of mine. A long time ago, writing was my method of escape from the predicaments and trials of my reality. And I want to write a story that has been formulating in my mind for quite some time. And I want to see it grow and evolve into something that maybe someday people might be interested in. I want to create a world where I can escape from my life. But when I return, I am both refreshed and determined to initiate change. Not just for me, but for everyone that I care about, and for those I long to aid. This is probably going to be the most challenging resolution that I've thought of, but it could be one of the most beneficial ones as well. Start reading again. Again, these two objectives are intertwined, like the first two, and both are extremely important in their own way. One can inspire and enhance the other to help define it into its own unique function, because I think there is a correlation between physical and mental well-being, so one can often better the other, especially in my case. There are several books that I have been in possession of for quite some time, recommended to me by passionate and helpful acquaintance. I finally plan on starting to read these books, and I'm not expecting any drastic change from reading them, but perhaps they could give me a different insight or perspective on my life that I desperately yearn for. And last but not least is to meditate. When I'm at my worst, my most vulnerable, and my most emotionally and fragile, I will retreat into my mind. I create a new reality for myself, one where I am more successful, and I play an integral part in things that happen around me, and I don't have to focus on my shortcomings, but solely on becoming the best possible version of myself that I can procure with my imagination. And my imagination can often get the better of me. I become so lost, and I spend so much time just thinking, dreaming of what could be. But my true reality needs to be at the forefront of my thoughts, for I can only escape into my mind when it is truly necessary. I cannot afford to waste precious time dwelling on what is beyond my control. Over time, I intend on adding more to this list, this is something that can grow and mold and transform me as I wish. I have shared some of my most innermost thoughts in this video, not because I crave attention or want to feel special, but because I wish to help those who are in need. Perhaps they could relate to my thoughts or struggles in some capacity. But nothing is absolutely certain in this instance. There is still so much to consider. Of course, I have been in this sort of negative mindset for so long now. It would be unwise to expect any sudden drastic permanent change but if I can achieve frequent consistent results, then I am excited for what my future could entail. Perhaps one day I might even consider myself a functioning and contributing member of this family. I don't often feel like I am. And I can begin anew, create a new family of trusted, like-minded individuals who understand me, and to fight for what they believe in, to protect the vulnerable. I predict there will be many false starts, but I must stay the course. I have a strong urge to better myself. I wish to be someone that one can both rely on and entrust with their well-being. But first, I must show that I can be someone who's deserving of their trust and respect. And this is something that I must demonstrate to the best of my ability. I'm not expecting or predicting any overnight miracles, but because that would be implausible. But I must force this change for the betterment of everyone. I must feel like my true self again, the type of person that I long to be. And that is not going to be an effortless task. Furthermore, I'm interested to see what this change could bring to my life and to my mind. I wonder, will I get the peace of mind that I so desperately crave? I'll have to wait and see, but I must believe in this. It is the only way that I can stay committed. I need to believe that this can be done. I must change. To conclude, I want to help people who are in similar scenarios, who are suffering much the same way I am. I want to help them because I can truly empathize with them. This is plausible. This can be done. I can achieve this. I must believe. Thank you for watching.